Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Who the hell am I?
I'm a construction worker.
I have to go to the bathroom. I said, be right back.
I'm a cop, you idiot!
Pasta.
Oh, I'm Detective John Kimball.
Who is your daddy?
Answer the question!
And what does he do?
Put that cookie down! Now!
Hey, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to a brand new episode of Into the Mr. Universe.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. This is, I guess I'll say my name. My name is David Bell.
My name is Tom Ryman.
That's our names.
Those
we
are
have
our names.
And they tend to be the names you hear a lot on this network. So, you know, if this is new to you, I don't know what to tell you.
Continuing that trend.
Like, statistically speaking, the only person listening to this who is unfamiliar could be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's true.
Being like, hey, there's a podcast about me. Let's turn this on. If that's the case, welcome, Governor.
Yeah, he just started putting out a newsletter. I think I'm going to subscribe to it.
I like that pothole news. Do you see that pothole news?
No.
He filled in a pothole that was on his street. And what was really funny is the city then like clapped back by being like, that was a work trench that was supposed to be there. But then if you actually look into the article, what they actually mean is that was a work trench they were using that they were then supposed to fill in. Mm-hmm. So they still didn't do the thing. They're like, that's not a pothole. That's a work trench. It's like that we intentionally dug and then forgot about. Yeah. So they're trying to act like he did something wrong, and it was like, no, you did something wrong. Don't you dare.
Arnold just peering out his window every day, just getting more and more frustrated with that work trench.
Yeah, I would be too. I get it.
Going to come fill this thing in.
Honestly, most rich celebrities, I would like them a lot more if they went around doing road repairs. That alone would get them on my good side.
Yeah, just doing extreme dad shit like that.
Yeah, they have the money. Just fucking go fill in some potholes, Tom Cruise. You hear me? I know you're listening. What's going on? Hey, big thank you to our producer, Norm from Cheers. Norm from Cheers is the one who made this all happen. This is a podcast where we've been going through just all of Arnold Schwarzenegger's films.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think we've skipped any yet. Have we?
Have we what?
I don't think we've skipped any yet.
I don't think so. We will.
Yeah,
we will.
We'll have to. We're going to run out of episodes.
Yeah. You're right. That's not going to be like a controversial decision. We know we're going to do that. This is we're mainly talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger as like, I guess, the actor. Like what is like looking at his career and like thinking about the different characters he plays, characters in quotations. And we've had some weird discoveries about Arnold along the way, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, we learned some things. We uncovered some truths about Arnold's abilities.
Yeah, and honestly, it's more like what he chooses.
Yeah.
And how like subversive he always was. And it's interesting watching these movies, realizing that Arnold never really made a normal action film. And this is no different, because this is 1990s Total Recall, which I would argue is a Verhoeven film more than it is a Schwarzenegger film.
Right.
But that's par for the course for Schwarzenegger at this point.
Yeah.
He makes films that are bigger than him, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. The premise, I mean, this movie is Total Recall, obviously, is so ubiquitously Arnold, because you get, out of any of his movies, this one has the best collection of Arnold faces and Arnold noises.
Yes. Oh, 100%.
But yeah, you're right. It's we've talked about it before, but yeah, he keeps picking these movies that are so big and high concept that it's like it's not an Arnold movie. It's Total Recall. It's this weird sci-fi mind trip kind of dystopian action film that Arnold just happens to be in.
Right. You could argue it's a partnership, right? Because Verhoeven he's not that big, but he's big enough. This is his follow-up to RoboCop.
Right.
Which is fucking, what a double whammy that career is. Like, that's amazing.
And then just in just, 6 short years, he'll make Showgirls.
Yeah, he'll make history. History. Yeah, and I noticed I don't know. Verhoeven, it doesn't seem like he always wants like big stars to be in his films, right? And so this is interesting for him to do a Schwarzenegger film.
Yeah, I remember reading something where a different star was attached for a time, and I forget the details of it. But yeah, you're right. Normally he picks, like RoboCop, Peter Weller was not a big star. Starship
Casper
Troopers.
Van Dien.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's also kind of an ensemble too, but they're all sort of unknowns in Starship Troopers.
He doesn't shy away from it completely, obviously, because we're talking about this movie. And like he did, that Michael Douglas, wow, Dave, Fatal Attraction or Basic Instinct? Did he do one of those?
He did Basic Instinct, yeah.
Basic Instinct, yeah. So which also has Sharon Stone, which I assume
he likes
stole his heart in this movie.
He likes his people. Like he uses,
he does.
Dean
Ronnie
Norris
Cox.
he uses a lot. Ronnie Cox. Maybe he'll actually
Ronald Cox.
maybe he only uses Dean Norris in this one. But anyway, Michael Ironside.
Yeah. He sticks to his actors.
Marshall Bell, the guy who plays Quado.
Right, and that's the stuff where it's like that feels like a Verhoeven film, which Schwarzenegger is in. You know, he's a guest here. You know, but we could talk about that more. This film in general, I assume, Tom, I realized this film had been with me as long as like the Terminator and Predator has. You know what I mean? Where it's like,
it's
this
hard.
Film has just been my whole life, just there. You know?
Yeah, it's hard for me to remember a time when I didn't know about Total Recall. I do. Like I remember not being allowed to see it for a while.
Yeah, I remember the fabled 3 boobs. You know?
Yeah.
Which this movie is known for as well. Remember that they remade this? Do you remember that?
I didn't remember that until I was pulling it up on Amazon to watch it and saw the Colin Farrell one. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, which, like, what a fucking shame. What a misuse of Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
It's just, man, why would they do that?
That whole movie was, we don't have to talk about that.
We don't.
I was looking something up about this. I had mentioned this movie was in development with another star. It was actually in development for a long time with multiple stars. And Schwarzenegger himself was super interested to be in it, but was not seriously considered because they didn't think he was right for this kind of part. So
that's funny.
So then he convinced Carolco Pictures to buy the rights to the movie and make the movie with him in it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that in the appropriate section.
Yeah.
Because we're going to talk about the plot. And then we're going to talk about technically not Arnold. That's our section where we talk about Arnold as the character. Then we're going to talk about people who are definitely not Arnold, as in the side characters. We're going to note the most Arnold. And then we're going to rate this between, 1 and 50 Quatos, I assume.
Yeah. Bunch of little chest babies.
Yeah, little chest babies. So we're talking about the plot and what we like about this movie, because I also love this movie. I want to live in it. Like, you know me and brutalist architecture. This is brimming with it.
Yeah.
So much concrete.
It's a lot of concrete.
So much concrete.
It's a lot of concrete and sharp edges.
Yeah, I love it.
It's very like Eastern Bloc Iron Curtain shit.
I love it. I would have done great in communist.
You would have been whistling through the bread line, Dave.
Yeah, I would have.
Yep.
I would have been all over that shit.
Yep. Just singing, taking it to the streets to yourself while you're waiting in line for cheese.
Gotta love that fucking Dr. Zhivago shit. So this is about what is his name? Dennis Quaid?
Douglas Quaid.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yes,
I was like, surely it's not.
Surely
Dennis
his
Quaid.
name is not Dennis Quaid. What if it
I'm
was?
not remembering that right.
What if
I?
it just was?
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Well, I want there to be a movie where like the main character is just named Tom Cruise.
That would be so good. Yeah, and they never call
And they just
attention
never
to
point
it.
it out. Yeah, not like Office Space where it's a joke that his name is Michael Ball.
Right.
Just nobody recognizes it. Anyway,
Right.
his name is Douglas Quaid. He's just some goofball construction worker on Earth who just moved to a new city, but he keeps having these recurring dreams about being on Mars with Rachel Ticotin.
Yeah, he wakes up and Sharon Stone says, "You're dreaming. Is it about Mars?" Which, weirdly, that's what Hannah asked me every morning, too.
Statistically, you will eventually be right. So one of these mornings, she will ask you, "Did you dream about Mars again?" You'll be like, "Yeah,
yes, I did."
I did."
This is a mindfuck movie.
I fell down a hill and my face got all weird. Yeah, it really you forget. At least I forget sometimes that this is a mindfuck movie.
Yeah,
because it's so associated with Paul Verhoeven and Arnold, and it's like over the top Arnoldisms and the over the top violence that it's easy to forget that this is a Philip K. Dick story. It's like a really trippy, heady sci-fi movie.
Right, and the question as to
is it really happening?
Was it all? I'm not entirely sure. It feels like there's more evidence that it's all a fantasy.
Yes,
because and we'll go into it. But basically, he's an everyman. Arnold Schwarzenegger looking everyman, which we'll talk about that because I do think that's important. He has wrestle sex with Sharon Stone.
He sure does.
He wants to go to Mars. She doesn't, so he goes to Total Recall with a K, and they implant memories of vacations. And they sell them on Mars. Well, actually, they try to sell them on Saturn. Everybody's talking about Saturn, and I'm like, what's so fucking good about Saturn?
I don't know,
it's
man.
Gas.
A cruise through Saturn's rings sounds pretty sweet.
That does sound sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, maybe you could touch it. You remember when Wally touched it?
Yeah,
touched the rings.
They look cool.
They look tasty. Like you probably eat it. You probably scoop some of the rings out and eat it.
I don't think you can touch them. I don't know. I would love to, but I don't think it works that way.
You can put a memory of me touching the rings of Saturn in my head. It doesn't cost you anything.
And it seems like you can go to every planet now. Tourism in this country or in this movie, and that's cool. I want to do that. So he gets these memories implanted, and this is where things start to get weird because as they're putting him asleep, they're asking him questions about what adventure do you want, and what is they ask him his sexual orientation, which I thought was this is a 90s movie, and I'm glad they remembered to do that because this would be a bummer if you were gay and they gave you this straight male fantasy.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck am I gonna do with this? I can't use this.
It's like when you check into the hotel and they give you a coupon for some restaurant and you look at it. The second you look at it, you're like, I'm not gonna go here.
I don't eat seafood. Yeah, exactly. What the fuck am I gonna do with this?
Thanks, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for the weird memories of me banging a lady.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I wanted him to be them to keep asking him what he wants, and for Arnold just be no, weirder until it eventually just gets to he's fucking a hippopotamus.
Yeah, where they're like, okay, well, I gotta go to our basement and grab that because we don't have that readily available.
Right.
So
we keep that locked up in the basement because it's against the law.
Yeah, exactly. But
I want to fuck a humpback whale. Listen, you don't have to figure out the logistics of it. Just put the memory in my head.
Yeah, exactly. Just the vague memory of me fucking a humpback whale.
I want to fuck a mermaid.
Yeah.
I wanted Arnold to get really weird with it. That's what I'm saying.
I did too.
Weirder. This is my vacation.
It'd be so good.
Make it fucking weird.
They're like, sir, he's already masturbating in the chair. We need to stop this. I'm sure Recall has a screening process for this reason.
He wants to fuck a catfish with women's lips.
Yeah. And they're like, no,
it just says lipstick on.
Because that is the idea. The idea is we're going to inject any fantasy of any vacation. And it's you better get weird with it. It's like the holodeck where it's that shit better be able to take a lot of jizz.
I think the holodeck is secretly there to weed people out of Starfleet. they look at what they're doing in the holodeck and be like, all right, we got to get this guy out of here.
Here's a problem with that, Tom. There is a specific episode in TNG called Hollow Pursuits, which is about Lieutenant Barclay fantasizing specifically about women coworkers. And this was an episode made in the 90s where it's invasive. They treat it like invasive, but they ultimately forgive him. And I was like, absolutely not.
No, you would never forget that shit.
Yeah, yeah,
You
exactly.
gotta get
That is
that's like seeing the guy in the cubicle next to you has drawn like a graphic sexual comic book about you or something. It's
yeah,
like,
exactly. It's
no,
like that is
this
workplace harassment.
This is still an HR issue. Like,
yeah.
just because you're not
exactly.
speaking to me doesn't make this not inappropriate.
Yeah, exactly. It should be that. The holodeck should be that, but unfortunately,
'Cause,
doesn't appear to be.
Like Recall too, some son of a bitch is like, it's like any vacation package you want. Okay, I want to murder people on Pluto.
Yeah, I want to murder a child, and it's like, let me get the child murder package for you, sir. We get that a lot. It turns out
Hell is one of their
a
destinations.
lot of parents.
A lot of people want to go to hell. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't seem to have fun, but yeah.
Yeah. Everybody, we get 5-star reviews, but all the reviews are like it's absolutely awful. It's the worst experience of my life. I'll never be able to get rid of these memories. 5 stars.
Yeah, I would never want to work at Recall because I just learned there'd be ones where they'd just be like, I just want my dead child back. And it'd be like, fuck, man. I keep going to dead children, but like there'd be so many like really depressing, sad ones.
Yeah, now we're getting into like Eternal Sunshine stuff.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, it would be a nightmare to work there. And the people who work here seem like nightmares. They all seem like, it's the future, so they're not ex-Nazi doctors, but they feel like they're ex-something doctors.
Well, he's like the main. They're like car salesmen. Like he's this typical sleazy sales guy who works on commission. And I love that they scramble his brain, so they throw him in a cab and dump him in the street.
It's real sketchy shit. But yeah, before they...
Oh, go ahead.
What's that?
I was going to say, speaking of Star Trek, I just noticed for the first time on this viewing that Johnny Cab is played by Robert Picardo.
Oh, yeah. It's good.
Never knew that.
Yeah. But before they do that, the woman that they whip up for him looks like the woman in his dreams. Mm. And then they say, give him the blue sky on Mars.
Yeah, if you listen, like when the salesman's pitching him the package, you overhear that guy say, hey, blue sky on Mars. There's something you don't see right there. And then like when the doctor comes to confront him later and he's like, you're in your mind and I'm in here trying to rescue you. They all say the events of the movie. Like they say what happens.
Right, and you see on the screen like the alien tech.
Yep,
too.
It looks exactly like the interior of the pyramid that we see later.
But again, like he was dreaming about this woman previously. So how do you reconcile that? I would say because they're knocking him out in the time. There's a unreliable narrator situation too, right? Where he's looking at the screen while drugged up. So you could argue that he's seeing the woman from his dreams because he's all fucked up.
And you could also argue that the dreams themselves are part of his implanted memory because the dreams are what make him go to Recall, which what makes him realize he's a secret agent from Mars.
Right.
So like the beginning of the film, like we could already be in the Total Recall memory package when the film starts, is what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah, you're right. There's no way to fucking know.
No, and they drop hints of both too throughout. So it's like you can kind of I'm on the side of it's all in his head, but you could argue either point, I think.
Oh yeah, because they do the other thing they do it's whenever a movie is all in someone's head, this tends to be a plot hole, but I think this is being done intentionally. There's also scenes where he's not there.
Right.
And but you could argue again that he's watching his own fantasy like it's a movie. Mm-hmm. It could go either way because of the nature of what's going on. So yeah, he freaks out on the table. And the guys are saying, like, this guy has already been to Mars, and he escapes. And then the guy who like told him not to go there,
it's Bullock from the Batman series.
It is.
Totally
oh my God!
Bullock, yeah.
What's the character's name? It's like
Harry.
It's like Harry.
Hey, you shouldn't have got a recall. I got to scramble your fucking brain.
When he first he's like, oh, I know, recall, and it's like that's not how the ad went. All right, anyway,
not the ad we saw. Maybe they have different campaigns, Dave.
Maybe it was a weird thing for him to do. So he gets in that cab. He's like stumbling around, and then Harry attacks him with some henchmen who I will talk about later. Some beautiful men. There's a gorgeous collection of bozos in this film. I can't wait to get to definitely not Arnold. There's so many. He gets attacked there. He kills them all. He gets home and he's like locking all the doors, shutting off the lights. Sharon Stone's like, "What's wrong, honey?" He tells her that he went to recall and that he might have already been to Mars and that his friend attacked him. And then she shoots at him and fires like 10 shots and misses every single
around
shot.
the door. It's like she was shooting
Right.
an outline around him, like in a Looney Tunes cartoon.
I would argue is a very good evidence that it's a fantasy because it's she should have hit him.
Something the doctor says later. It's very subtle because it's only in one line and he's not even facing camera when he says it. But later on, the doctor guy says, "What's more believable, that this is a fantasy or that you really are an invincible secret agent from Mars?" Like he points out that Arnold is invincible in this movie. So they kind of make of course he is, because he's Arnold in an Arnold movie. But like I appreciated them throwing in that little meta element because it's like a further step of, wow, this really is a fantasy. Like
right. And that's what makes this movie a meta movie, which I want to talk about in a bit. But he gets a call from like another agent who's like, "Put this towel on your head. Also, make sure it looks really nice," because he takes time to make sure.
He does. I'm amazed he knew how to do that. I don't know how to tie a turban.
I know how. Yeah, he makes a turban.
Yeah.
I know how to do the getting out of the shower towel.
Well, I can wrap a towel around my head, but he makes like an actual turban out of the towel.
Yeah, which is wild.
Yeah. I love that we never see this like Michael Landon looking secret agent guy ever again.
He's gone.
He puts down a briefcase and walks out of the movie.
Yeah, that's his time.
See you later.
Schwarzenegger, does claw in his nose, which I don't understand how that works, because your nose doesn't go into your skull; it goes down into your like throat, right?
Yeah. I guess unless the tracker is like in his face.
Yeah,
like right up behind his eyes or something. It's like, man,
right.
It's like this big ass. It feels too big to be in his nose.
It's very funny. Yeah, he gets his ass to Mars.
I guess I guess we can technically unpack this in the next phase. But I do love that he's doing this because he's watching a video of his former self, Hauser, telling him, "Look, you're on the run. You're a secret agent. You need to rip the bug out of your head." And he's giving him all these instructions. And while Arnold's like painfully, excruciatingly ripping this bug out of his skull, it cuts to Hauser on the recording a few times, who's just like sitting there smiling and just kind of waiting.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh yeah, that's the stuff."
Like it seems like he can see him. He's just like watching him yank.
This is my favorite part.
Like,
I love this part.
I love this part.
Yeah.
I love this part. He doesn't really have to do it that way.
Yeah. But it's funny when they do.
You can just play a certain tone and the thing deactivates and you poop it out in a day. But I just wanted to see if he'd rip this thing out of his face.
want to see how much he wants it.
Yeah.
Arnold swings by the lady disguise store, the robot lady disguise store.
To get himself a robot lady.
I don't know where he got. Yeah, I don't know where he got that thing.
A robot lady
is fucking wild.
A robot lady disguise head that can only say 2 words.
Yeah, and then explode
until you deactivate it. And then she says, "Get ready for a surprise." But
yep,
she got stuck on 2 weeks earlier. And it's also a bomb.
He got that. Yeah, he got that at a prank store. It's just the future.
What if the bomb went off when he was wearing it?
Yeah, I believe that would be it for the movie. That's exactly like a fake head that explodes. Feels like there's a lot of unfortunate accidents, right?
It feels like you maybe shouldn't put your head in that fake head.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
If it explodes.
This scene doesn't need to exist in the movie, and I'm glad it does. Because the villains are hanging out. They just like look over and it's like, "Oh, there he is."
Yeah.
Like there's like, "Oh, hey, he's right there."
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
And then he escapes. Yeah, and then he escapes and that's it. And it was like, "Huh, okay." But I'm glad it happened. I'm so glad it happened.
Yeah. It's an Arnold movie, so I feel like maybe the only bad thing I can say about this movie, and it's not even a bad thing, it's just it does feel like an action scene happens about every 10 pages just because.
Right, but I want to talk about that in the larger meta aspect.
It makes sense
movie.
for the if he's buying a secret agent package where he's supposed to defeat all the bad guys, he will just continuously get ambushed by these dudes and then easily defeat them and escape.
Yeah, these idiot henchmen.
Yeah.
One of them shoots the Mars window, and it's like they shouldn't even have guns on this planet.
There shouldn't be glass. Those windows.
Right. They should be bulletproof.
Yeah,
There's
at
a lot
the
of things.
very least. Because, sometimes it gets windy and rocks might come up. Probably doesn't get windy on Mars, but...
You never know.
Does it? It doesn't, does it?
Well, in The Martian, there's a storm.
Do they have storms on Mars?
Yeah, I think they have.
Okay, so
storms.
there you go. Maybe you don't want to put... maybe a rock will hit it. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons.
There's a lot of
you don't
reasons
have glass
not to have a
windows
glass
on Mars.
window on Mars.
Yeah, but they do, and they continue to. He goes to the Hilton. The guy from Recall shows up. He tries to red pill him, which I was like, oh shit, is that where they got it from? He literally gives him a red pill.
It's
to
not.
wake him
Yeah,
up.
it's not that. And
Yeah.
it is like it is the same function where he's like, take this pill. It's a symbol of your desire to break free of this fantasy. So yeah, it is the same thing. So I wonder if the Wachowskis
I bet the
were
Wachowskis, inspired
by Total Recall a little bit for that idea specifically.
I also love that in that scene they then explode. They explode the wall in when he refuses, when he shoots the guy because the guy's sweating, which is a very funny way to do that.
Right. I think it's another meta thing because it's a real Archer move, right? To shoot somebody in the fucking brain because they're sweating. It's like there's any number of reasons this guy might be sweating.
Right, you don't know. But then also the fact that it explodes the room, like with the henchman,
that dude
feels like it's a fantasy too.
Yeah.
And then I love that it cuts to Michael Ironside and Raiden from Mortal Kombat Annihilation having fun drinks at the bar. Like he's just drinking this blue drink, like, And then they hear gunshots and they're like, oh, better go up.
It's not blue, it's pink. They're drinking strawberry quick at the bar.
They're having a great fucking time.
Him and his henchman like fake Steve Zahn.
Yeah.
The guy's almost Steve Zahn.
He is. We'll talk about him. We don't have to go through the whole thing, but there's
I do love that guy.
He's so good. The reveal is that Arnold Schwarzenegger, the twist, and this is another sci-fi thing that's awesome, is that Arnold Schwarzenegger was actually a bad guy. He erased his memory to play Quaid because they need to infiltrate Quato.
They need to infiltrate
and kill him.
The Mars rebels, find Quato, and kill him. Yeah.
And I believe this has been done in other movies, but it's the idea of what's the best spy. It's someone who doesn't even realize
they're a spy.
that they're a spy.
Yeah. Isn't that that's North by Northwest, isn't it?
Probably, and it's Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, I must kill the queen.
The queen. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of people. And so that's like the double twist that it's cool. I love it because now and it's another meta Arnold's thing where it's like, oh, he's an asshole. I would also be suspicious because he literally wore a fake woman's face earlier, and he has a Duke Nukem hologram, so it's like that might not be him still. Like the video where he's like, hello, yeah, I am actually bad. It's like, well, I've seen so much evidence that you could fake someone.
That's true,
in this already.
That's true.
Could be a deep fakes.
It could be Ronnie Cox could have deep faked him. It's like, see, we were best friends this whole time, Quaid.
Yeah. I was hoping in that video, because Ronnie Cox is also in the video with him, I was hoping it would end if they just both started kissing in the video.
They just start making out.
Right?
Like
That would be amazing.
Fields of Gold starts playing.
Yeah.
You're my best friend, Hauser. You were at my granddaughter's christening.
I would love to see them hang out. Ronnie Cox and Schwarzenegger.
How are they friends? The whole.
What would they talk about?
Right?
Lifting weights?
The only thing they have in common is oppressing the people of Mars. So presumably, what they get together and do is just laugh at all the people they're suffocating.
Yeah, they have drinks and they're like, you know what I hate?
Smoking
Mars.
cigars and laughing at all the people choking to death on bad air.
That's got to be it. Yeah. And,
just two evil buds.
Yeah. They try to recall him again and the lady, which we haven't even talked about. That's the three boobs going to the sex worker place. And
yeah, the Last Resort is the name of the club.
Yeah, and it's the rebel group, which makes sense because it's called Last Resort. Anyway, they try to recall him, and he stabs a scientist in the fucking face with like a rebar.
Does. He rips the armrest off of the chair.
Yeah,
and hits him with it like a fucking bear.
Yeah, it's really funny.
They have to, when he freaks out earlier, initially in the recall place on Earth. The lady doctor has to shoot him with the immunizer, the air jet tranquilizer like 8 times.
Yeah,
'Cause
he's a bear. He's a circus
rampaging.
animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his face gets so red in this
Yeah,
movie.
he's like, Yeah.
You
it's
blow
so
my
good.
cover!
So good.
God
So,
damn it, I love this movie, Dave.
Yep. He eventually gets into the mines, the alien mines where they found this technology that can bring air to Mars. They won't turn it on. So
Well,
he
'cause
has
they
to
don't-
fight his way to turn it on.
They don't... Quaid believes, and I think he like knows somehow, like I think Quado passed the knowledge on to him, that it'll create air, but like Ronnie Cox doesn't know that that's what it's going to do.
Yeah. There's some efficient storytelling where he sees Quato and Quato like just like psychic expositions him and then dies.
And
It's
then
like,
immediately,
nice.
immediately gets shot.
Yeah. That's all we need.
It's a good sport.
Yeah.
Quado, he gets
He uses
squished by a big insect in Starship Troopers.
Oh, yeah, he does. He sure does.
And almost kills Mulder and leaves him in a forest.
Right. He's in that one
he's the
too.
guy from Fallen
What a
Angel.
career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid career for this guy.
So good. He's great.
And he's in Twins. He's the killer in Twins.
You're right. He is. Holy shit. Yes. No, he's, man.
Killing
he must
it,
be
Quado.
friends, pals with Schwarzenegger too.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. He uses his Duke Nukem hologram to fight the soldiers, and I just want to call out something I noticed in the scene is that he shoots all the soldiers in the chest. All the soldiers have these black vests, and it occurred to me in this moment, oh, those aren't bulletproof vests. They're just nifty vests.
Yeah, just nifty vest.
Like
cool looking.
They look like bulletproof vests, but they're
They're
they
not.
just like team vests.
It's like a catch.
That's
It's
what I
like a
was-
catcher's vest.
Yeah.
Even
What's the point of those?
even less protection than that. Actually, it's just just like a smart looking vest.
Right. The vests feel like they add extra damage, like if anything.
It helps the bullets. It helps them go
Yeah.
faster.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
He
ushers.
fights. Yeah.
It helps the bullets find your organs
Yeah.
and them right this way to the heart.
Schwarzenegger fights Michael Ironside on an elevator. Michael Ironside is one of the few people I do believe could take Arnold. He's got that like bald guy, like that stepdad rage.
Oh yeah,
That I'm like, yeah, I can see it.
yeah. He's got a drunk stepdad demon within him. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, he does. But he
you look at
doesn't
that,
win.
You look at that face and you're like, Like,
Yep.
like even with my bulging Austrian biceps, I kind of want to like delay fighting Michael Ironside for as long as possible.
Exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't want to.
No.
Like he feels like a gouger.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah.
He's got a knife somewhere that you don't know about.
Yeah, like when he
Looks like
he
a-
dies,
What?
he technically dies off screen, which makes me worried that he'll come back, even though he won't have arms. I still am scared.
Extremely armless. Yeah, that's true. Even removing both of his arms in an ancient alien elevator, I'm still not
Right.
looking forward to a rematch.
Right. He so at the end he faces off against Ronnie Cox, which Ronnie takes a beating in this. He gets shot like 3 times and then thrown
And
out
then
into
flies
Mars.
out into Mars, and his head
Yep.
swells. They never show him explode, which I always thought was weird.
Yeah.
You'd
But
think if
I assume they couldn't.
They keep teasing it, so they're like, "Oh, somebody's gonna blow up in this," like that movie Outland.
Yeah.
But nope, everybody gets freakishly big mascot heads, but that's as far as it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's implied Ronnie's dead,
Oh
right?
yeah, he
But,
does not
yeah.
make it. No.
They all go out, and as Mars is being filled with air, they're doing that, which I would argue because Arnold and the lady survive, but it's like, do they though?
Right, their
Like, you
heads
can't-
have
that can't
expanded.
happen to your face.
Right, like your eyes can't bulge out of your skull, and then you're just like, I'm fine,
Yeah,
just because we can breathe now. It's like, no, you still like your head got really big.
right. But instead, they survive. All air on Mars. They've liberated Mars. Right before they kiss, Arnold's like, shoot, what if this was a dream? And they're like, whatever. And then they kiss, fade to white. So I assume he has brain damage.
Yeah.
And Sharon Stone is watching his body and going, did he shoot me in his fantasy? That fucking asshole. Did he shoot me and say, consider this a divorce?
Consider
Fuck
this a
you,
divorce.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, did you hear what I said to my wife after I shot her in the face?
She does not. Yeah, he turns on her so fast.
Right. It's not that she's dead or like left recall. She's just after he shoots her in his fantasy, she's just so stunned that she's just sitting there in recall in silence, just like
Because
this motherfucker shot me in his secret agent fantasy.
how long have they been together? Like,
It's
did
unclear.
they say like 8 years or so?
I think
I don't
so.
know. Whatever it is.
Oh wait, you're right. He
It's
does say. I forget. It's less than.
It's
10,
a long
but
time.
It's not nothing. Yeah.
he doesn't even mourn her death. He just shoots
he
her and
moves
says
right
a
on.
catchphrase and moves
He
on.
was right on, and we know he has all of the memories of their marriage implanted in his head, whether or not they're real. He has those memories.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So he doesn't care.
So yeah, it's just I like to think that she's sitting beside his comatose body, just being like, "That motherfucker really shot me
Yeah.
in his space dream.
No, he's also dead, and it's like, yeah, but he fucking
He shot me.
yeah. I want a divorce too, you asshole.
Can we
Yeah.
burn him?
It's Sharon Stone, man.
He's
Not a great time.
He's already dead, but I'm mad at him.
Yeah, I'm still mad at him. I want to shoot him in the face now and say it back to him. So that's the movie. Should we talk about what is technically not Arnold? His performance in the movie.
Yes, we should.
And we've sort of been alluding to it, is that there's a meta aspect, which is that him being Arnold and framing it like an Arnold film, which catchphrases, action, all that, plays into the idea of, is this a fantasy or not?
Yeah.
Because the plausible deniability or the meta aspect or the the ambiguousness of it
Ambiguity, yeah.
is the fact that he is Arnold. And so like he starts as a construction worker, and you look at him and go like, come on, man, he's got to be like a secret agent or something, right? And then he is. So that's actually like a case for it to be real, is just who he is like, why would that man just be an everyman,
Yeah.
This like so that's what they're playing with, which is like, we believe it because Arnold Schwarzenegger films, we always just believe that he can be anything.
He just walks through dudes in all of these movies. So yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, why wouldn't he be a secret agent? Why would it be anything complicated like that?
It's interesting that so many of the movies we've talked about, which is pretty much every movie he made in the 80s, we've talked about, how often he plays with his image rather than it's like when we talk about Commando, it's like he was playing with his image before he really had that image.
Right.
So it's interesting how often he does that. I never realized it until we sat down and did this show.
Yeah, like Predator. He's a big muscle man. He knows that, which is why the Predator is terrifying when it kills all the muscle men. This is like, he's a big muscle man and he knows it. So then you fuck with the idea of like, maybe this is all a fantasy. Maybe he's not even like, for all we know, maybe he doesn't even look like this. You know what I mean?
For all we know, he's 14 years old.
Yeah, for all I know, he looks like Dennis Quaid. Like, we don't know.
Maybe it is Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, that would have been great at the end.
Wow, I was
They
Arnold
did that.
Schwarzenegger on Mars for 2 weeks.
Yeah. So they're using that fact in a very... It's kind of like The Rock and Jumanji. Like the action stars will do this every now and then, but Arnold will do it a lot. And I think he got less able to do this later. Like, I was thinking about The Sixth Day, a movie that fucks with identity. Mm-hmm. And that movie kind of...
It's a bad one.
Well, it's not willing to be dark or ambiguous, whereas this is. Although you could argue that it's not ambiguous enough, where it's like they did want to make it so that like people could watch it and go like, nah, it's not a fantasy, it's awesome,
Oh yeah. It's very subtle. Like I think I watched this movie for like probably 6, 7, 8 years before I started to think about, wait, maybe it isn't true.
Right.
Like maybe this
don't
isn't
think about
really
it.
happening to him. Yeah.
Because it's just an Arnold film otherwise. It's I don't know. It's he's playing up the fact that he's Arnold Schwarzenegger. So like, in terms of like character, how is this different? It's not that different, but that's sort of the point.
Yeah. And it's interesting getting to see him be like a smug bad guy in his Hauser scenes.
I was about to say that's playing with the image too, which
Yeah.
is really fun.
Yeah.
And
like
in terms of
when the camera pulls back to reveal like he's arm in arm with Ronnie Cox, like that's a legitimate gasp eliciting moment
Yeah.
where you're like, Arnold, no.
yeah. One thing I will say about his acting that is terrific is there's this movie, I think more than any, discovered that Arnold can perfectly emote the emotion of having your brain scrambled. Because when he's in that Total Recall and he's like, ah, I'm like, he looks painful. His stupid face is great.
Yeah. His freak out is like genuinely upsetting.
Yeah.
He's all red faced, he's violent, he's enormous, he's screaming.
Yeah, he's terrifying.
Look
And then
on my
also-
cover.
When Sharon Stone grabs his dick, the noise he makes, or is it Sharon Stone or is it the other woman?
It's Rachel
The
Ticotin
noise
that
he
does it.
Yeah, where he just goes, I thought that was very funny. Just good performance. Good performance all
Little
around.
fight he has with he does a thing he doesn't do very often as Arnold, where he fights with the lady over the suitcase, and then as he's walking
Right.
away, she calls, "You fucking asshole," and it cuts to Arnold, and he does like a little sarcastic bow. Like, oh,
Yeah.
that's a little, it's Arnold having fun with it. He's not normally that kind of jokey, which was
Yeah, they're trying to make him, charismatic and,
I do like that Quaid has a little bit of an arc where as like he's bewildered at first, then like he's just kind of, running for his life, or by the time he gets to Mars, he's almost cocky. Like the first time he goes to the last resort, he's an asshole. Like,
right,
he's
there's
like,
this feeling of
he's
like
full of himself. He's like, man, I really can't be stopped. I'm this impossible secret agent. And then
right.
he kind of has to get humbled after he meets, like he's shitty to Dean Norris when he first meets him, but then when Dean Norris helps him, he like apologizes and thanks him. And then it's not really until that scene where they run and meet Quado where it's like where he starts to kind of equal out. Because when he first gets to Mars, he is like an asshole. So like, it's
Right, they do this thing where
Yeah.
he doesn't care about the rebels.
Right.
And then by the end he does.
Right.
And it's a nice little thing. Yeah.
Which I
It
didn't-
works well.
I didn't really notice that before either. So
No, not as much.
Yeah.
There's also a feeling of like, okay, is he in the fantasy? Is that why he's cocky? Because
I
like
think so.
he's also less confident at first. Like when he kills people, he's like shocked that he could kill people. And then I think what happens is he just gets used to that idea where he's like, oh, okay, I can just turn on.
right.
And so is it his spy training coming back or is it a fantasy kicking in? That's the fun of it,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think this is a good Arnold.
Yeah, it's not
You
bad.
know?
It's not bad.
He's not doing like he's not trying to be like a really different character.
No.
But he's doing stuff in this,
Yeah, there's some fun stuff that you wouldn't necessarily expect for like a character like Quaid in a movie like this where he doesn't know what's going on. It can be tough to have the protagonist really be any kind of character except just a person who is being led from point A to point B, etc.
For sure, yeah.
So it's nice that there is like a little it's a more complicated character than that. It's not super
Yeah, they
complicated
give him some
or anything.
tood.
Yeah, but they give him a little bit to do, and he's Arnold, so he plays it well. Anyway,
Yeah. Well, do you want to talk about the best side characters?
I can't wait, Dave.
Definitely not Arnold. So shout out to the many artificial Schwarzenegger heads that appear in this movie.
So many rubber Arnold heads
Yeah.
that just are grotesque.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah.
It's very funny that Schwarzenegger, they like looked at him and went like, yeah, we can make fake heads of this guy. It's just funny how that his whole career is that, like from Terminator on.
Right.
They were just like, yeah,
Because
people can't tell the difference between him and a
Right.
mannequin head.
Because he doesn't quite look real. So
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. I want to talk about the hairy henchmen.
Harry.
Because they're all overweight, mustache,
Right.
balding
They're all like
dudes.
Teamsters.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like I don't think Schwarzenegger, spy training or not, would have had a problem there.
No,
Like
it's-
they're gonna just have heart attacks before they they're perfect.
Right.
I love them.
Yeah, they're so fucking man. Just the idea of these henchmen. Like
They're so good.
Like Harry's like, yeah, the agency put me down here to keep an eye on you in case you freaked out and went to recall. You did the one thing I told you not to do, pal. It's like, why on earth would Ronnie Cox hide this yoked Superman, super secret agent, and have his babysitter be this like schlubby construction worker
So
guy.
good. So good. It's like on the day of set, they were like, the stuntmen aren't here. And they're like, grab some grips. We'll just use the grips. It's so good.
Yeah, and it's also it lends more credence to the idea that the whole thing is a fantasy, because it's like, oh, what if all the guys I work with were suddenly trying to kill me? So it really does look like just a bunch of dudes that just work with them. Like
for sure.
They're so not criminals. At least not this kind of criminals.
They're incredible. Yeah, they're the kind where they fucking work on the docks. They're Wire season 2 criminals.
Yeah, they're real sabatkas. Yeah, I was about to say, like, Harry doesn't look like he hasn't bet money on a dogfight.
Yeah, of course. Oh man,
I love. I think it's in this, or it's around the scene. I love the one random guy on the escalator that Arnold uses as a human shield.
Yes, who dies like 6 times.
Right. There's guys shooting at him in front, so he gets behind this guy who is wearing the loudest 1990 shirt that you could ever wear. It's like it's like a collared shirt with a lot of triangular shapes and colors on it. And anyway, this guy gets shot 487,000 times as Arnold is just hiding behind him. And then people show up behind him on the escalator, so he turns this man's body around to continue blocking more gunfire.
So good.
And then he lets him drop, and they film, like, they show you the bad guys stepping on this guy's body.
Yeah, they really want to say, like, fuck you to this man.
They really punished this man.
He's so good.
He was just trying to get to the subway.
Yeah. He was just going about his day.
Wearing his cool shirt.
New father. Yeah. He's going to go home and see his wife and kids. Yeah. Other henchmen, I mentioned Raiden from Mortal Kombat Annihilation with Egon glasses.
Yeah. It's not really the same actor, but yeah, he does look like
No,
Raiden.
It's not James Remar, but
it's like he's Michael Ironside's like little henchman who like kind of gives him some lip, a little bit of sass, and then just gets his ass stabbed off halfway through the movie, and we never see him again.
He lasts longer than a lot of henchmen, but
that's true.
He
goes. He has a featured henchman death.
And then, Michael Ironside, you just noted who's the sex pet of Sharon Stone, which I'm like, what's that all about?
Yeah,
what's
what is that relationship like?
Yeah. Shout out to the miner on the train who has like a southern accent, where it was like, oh, there's just like on Mars, the miners are just Earth miners, which I thought was very funny. He's like a roughneck with like a big beard.
I think
and he's like, they closed down the mines. And I was like, really? So Mars mining, it's just Earth mining.
It's just Earth mine, huh? I think that actor is in one of the Terminators.
Oh, good for him.
He's got that guy face.
He does have that guy. Three Boobs Lady is a legend, of course.
Yeah, of course she is.
Quato is, that voice. You don't expect that voice to come out of that thing. It's like a really like calm voice.
It's really unnerving every time.
I love how cool Arnold plays it when he meets Quato. Like in his head, he's like, "Don't freak out, don't freak out, don't freak out. It's a baby."
He's just like, "Oh,
here's a baby.
Chill.
Don't freak
Awesome."
out.
Yeah, this guy has chest babies.
Yeah, but I haven't mentioned my personal winner. Do you have a personal winner?
Oh man, I'll
tell you mine.
love the guy who gets shot on the escalator. But yeah, tell me yours.
Yeah. Mine is the briefcase lady. The old lady who sees a briefcase on the street and is like, "Well, I'll take this."
Fucking
and then Arnold's like, "That's." Arnold, the muscle man, is like, "That's mine," which is a perfectly believable thing for him to say, and she fights him on it. And then goes, "Fuck you, you asshole," when he rips it from her. It was like, what is that woman's life? That is a rock bottom life right there. Yeah, that woman was fighting for that briefcase.
Let me tell you, Dave, the 12 hours leading up to that interaction were a harrowing journey.
Yeah.
Like she has had a shocking day before that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like she's going to be, she's going to snap any minute. What if she got the suitcase? Like, I like that universe where she got it,
right,
and then finds this fucking video that makes no sense. Uses the grabber and like rips out part of her brain just for funsies. I don't know. She probably just grabbed the money. But yeah,
there is a lot of ridiculously fake money, like future money,
Monopoly money.
Yeah, it's bright red because I guess it's Mars money, and it's just like everything's really red here. They're really into red.
Right.
I like Hauser a lot, and let me tell you why.
Of course.
I like Hauser a lot. He fascinates me as a character because he has his memory erased, has himself given a new identity as Douglas Quaid, this unassuming construction worker. Places
Makes
him,
like taunting videos to him.
yeah, makes a series of taunting videos to him. It's like a Ray Bradbury story.
Yeah.
But has himself implanted in this house with Sharon Stone as his wife. Now, to monitor him. Now, he knows Sharon Stone. He knows that she is married to Michael Ironside.
You're right.
Is
So
this an elaborate scheme to get him? Because he wanted to fuck Michael Ironside's wife. Yeah, he wants to cuck Michael Ironside. So
he might be, because Michael Ironside throughout this really wants to kill him, right?
Oh, yeah.
And Ronnie Cox is like, you can't kill him. He's my friend. And he finally is like, okay, kill him. And he's like, yes. So I think him and Michael Ironside did not get along before all this too. So you're right. It is just him doing this elaborate scheme to fuck his wife.
And he does.
Then of course Raiden taunts him, where he's like, I'm sure she hated every minute of it.
Yeah, right. Where she's like, are you suggesting she liked it? Oh no, I bet she hated it all.
Yeah. So it's just, it's like this elaborate sci-fi scheme for Michael Ironside to have to deal with watching this guy fuck his wife.
Just fuck his wife for several weeks.
Yeah. That's fucking weird.
What a weird plan. How did they approach them to explain this plan to them? Okay,
You're right.
You're going to be my wife, my fake wife. Oh, okay, your fake wife. Yes, but we still have sex.
Yeah. You think Ironside's like, can I just be like your brother that you live with? Like, why do you need a wife in general?
No, this is weird.
Like, there are other, can't you live alone?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, man?
Just put me in a dog suit. I'll pretend to be his dog.
Yeah, for the love of God, please. And then Sharon Stone's like, no, I'm into it. This sounds fun. He's like, really?
Yep.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, she's looking at Arnold and looking at Michael Ironside and being like, yeah, I'll take this mission.
Yeah, I'll do this,
Sure. Yeah, I fucking love Hauser. Man, there's so many heroes. Dean Norris, obviously.
Dean Norris, yeah.
Thumbelina, the little person sex worker who stabs Raiden.
Oh my God, she's great.
She pulls out the biggest knife in the universe. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she makes it. She's great.
Her, Dean Norris, the two.
Right, she pulls out that giant fucking, everybody in that bar, all the mutants, they're having a great time.
The Michael Ironside really overplayed his hand in that scene. There's a scene where he's chasing Quaid and Melina, who is Rachel Ticotin, and Benny, the cab driver, who we haven't mentioned yet. And they hide them in the wall. So he comes in there with Lord Raiden, and he's like, "Tell me where they are." And Three Boob Lady kind of is like, "We don't know what you're talking about." So he kills Three Boob Lady.
Yeah.
Tragically.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Rip. Yeah. And so the rest of the bar just attacks and murders all of his men, to the point where I can't believe we didn't mention this yet, where Michael Ironside dives headlong through the window to escape.
Right. Yes, they piss them off so much that they're like, we gotta get the fuck
They
out
just
of here.
murder all the bad guys.
Yeah, it's so good.
Michael Ironside's like, I really underestimated these people.
Everybody in that bar is great. All the like OG Mars people.
Yeah, they don't give a shit.
Like, yeah. What,
I'm a
they're
fucking
like, cut off our
mutant
air.
living on Mars.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stab this
psychic.
guy to death.
Think I wanted to be psychic? I hate this.
No, I just want to go to work.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to rent an apartment. Yeah. I want to get off of Mars. Michael Ironside is, I think,
he's pretty great.
If we're being honest and fair, he probably is my favorite. Definitely.
Well, of course, he's terrific. Yeah.
Just that
because again, he's the most formidable villain.
He is, and then he does insane shit like diving headlong through a window.
Yeah, it's so good.
So never in my life did I think I would see Michael Ironside dive through a glass window.
When he first shows up, when Sharon Stone calls him, every time it's a little shocking. When he like shows up on the screen, I always go like, "Oh, fuck!"
Because they treat it like a reveal because he's not looking. So she dials him up, and the screen is on for a minute before he does a dramatic head turn to reveal that it's Michael Ironside.
I wanted to talk about that because several characters do that on the video phone, and I think it was like a weird direction they had where it's like you're getting called and you have to like look up at it. But like I think Ronnie Cox does it a few times too, where like they like it's like a news anchor introducing themselves. It's really
Right,
weird.
yeah. Here's my theory. You notice in Michael Ironside's car, he has 2 of those little video screens, and they're both playing
Right.
Ronnie Cox at the same time. I think these phones have multiple screens, and they don't always know which screen
Which
to look
way
at.
to look at? Yeah,
So they were looking
Yeah.
at the wrong screen. That's my theory.
yeah. No, you might be right. I love these movies where it's the future, but it's like all CRT TVs.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that.
it's the future, but everything still kind of sucks. Like
Yeah.
their space age tracking technology is thwarted by Arnold wrapping a wet towel around his
Yeah.
head.
I love 90s futurism. I love it so
it's
much
so fucking
because it's I think it's more embarrassing than 70s futurism personally. Cuz like 2001 they have iPads in that and stuff. And the reason why is because in the 70s they're like they either have to like fake it or not, right?
Yeah.
Where they're like we need a small TV. It's like, well, where are you going to get that? It's the 70s. So we have to like, actually make that an optical effect. Of some kind. Whereas in the 90s, they're like, just slap a little TV on it.
Yeah.
It's like the future, right? And it's like, no, it's not.
Yeah,
It's superism.
it's the future. In the future, they're going to put TVs and shit.
Yeah.
There's as many
Or like
TVs
when
as you
they-
can get. That's how futuristic you tell it is. It's full of TVs.
When they can't afford a big screen TV, so they put like a bunch of little TVs next to each other.
Yeah.
And they're like, see, this is what the future looks like.
Yeah, and Michael J. Fox comes home in Back to the Future 2 and is just watching
Oh,
8
yeah.
screens.
So perfect.
What are we doing?
Yeah. Should we get into the most Arnold? What the moments that are the very most Arnold moments of this film?
I think so. Are there any other heroes? There's so many heroes. There's so many dudes in this film
There's a lot of dudes.
that just have
Just background characters.
just awesome
features
dude
extras.
faces.
Yeah.
I feel like there was one extra that I really wanted to point out, other than the guy who gets shot a million times on the escalator, and I've forgotten. So it's fine.
He is the best, though, that guy.
He's the great. Oh, there's one when they're running down the stairs. It's Arnold and Rachel Ticotin, and I forget which. I think it's when they're fleeing after they've killed Sharon Stone. I think they're fleeing the Hilton, and they're running down the staircase, and there's a person ahead of them. Rachel Ticotin very easily gets past them. Arnold shoves them over the railing. And the guy,
Yeah, he has to.
the guy's like a fucking hero. He hangs on the edge like a daredevil and like climbs. I mean, because obviously he's a stuntman, but so he
Right.
like hangs one armed off this railing and then swings himself back up onto the stairs while yelling at Arnold. And it's like, it's twofold. One, that was
Amazing.
awesome. That guy was like Spider-Man. Two, Arnold could have absolutely gotten past that guy
Yeah.
without
Oh, yeah.
shoving him.
No, that guy was right. That's one of those cases. I wish he showed up at the end, like on like the last shot to run in and be like, "You son of a bitch,"
Yep.
and just nail Arnold. Because he would be thinking about that for a while.
Hit him with a chair. Yeah, that big asshole that shoved
Yeah.
me off the staircase.
Yeah, I was just on vacation.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything to
We're
you.
in front of the Hilton.
Yeah,
I was gonna go get a tropical drink.
right. Yeah, I was gonna get a cool pink drink with
Pushed me
fucking,
down
Michael
the
Ironside.
stairs. Yeah,
Yeah.
get some strawberry milk with Michael Ironside.
It's so great.
They're
I can't
they-
stress enough that that is the best shot of the movie.
They really
'Cause
are
it's
just
not-
sitting there looking at each other, drinking mugs of pink milk.
I think only Michael Ironside is drinking, and it's like it feels like one of those moments where he's about to ask, "Well, how is it?" You know, where like I feel like the conversation was them sitting, and he's like, "You know what? I'm gonna get a drink while we're waiting," and then it was just like, "What do you want to get?" And it's like something fun, and it was like a silly moment where he's like, "I'm gonna be silly. I'm gonna get this tropical like this quote unquote
this-
chick drink."
This daiquiri or whatever it is.
Yeah, and then like they were having fun, and he was like, "Oh, I want some. Tell me how is it?"
Yeah.
and he like took a dainty sip, like, and then
They're sitting
yeah.
close together and facing each other, so when it cuts in, it really does look like they're in the middle of having just like a conversation, just like hanging
Yeah,
out.
like a fun time.
Yeah.
I enjoy movies where they do this. Like Shane Black is, of course, very good at this. Where like the bad guys, you're just like, I kind of want to hang out with them. Like they kind of seem like they're fun.
Yep.
Like Ironside feels like I would, you could have fun with him. You'd have a good time.
Yeah, as long as you never had to face him in combat.
Yeah, or fuck his wife.
Yeah, definitely don't do that.
Yeah. What if it was his idea? What if Ironside was the one who was like, I want this. Honey, I need this. Please.
I need you to do
Please.
this for me.
Yeah, I need this. I've been thinking about it. I really want this. All right, the most Arnold.
Yeah.
So honorable mention again is the fake heads, because that's just in time honored Arnold tradition is to have fake heads of him.
Yeah, weird orc heads of Arnold
yeah.
Schwarzenegger.
This is tough. Consider this a divorce.
I mean, there's two.
Okay.
Screw you! When he kills Benny with
Oh
the drill.
yeah.
Very funny.
And then see you at the
And
party.
then see you at the party, Richter.
See you at the party, Richter.
And
that's like
throws his arms down the chasm after him.
I think that's the winner because it's a callback where it's not. It's a line that out of context you don't really know what makes it great. It's because they were like, once you're brainwashed, we're doing a party later. You want to come? Like it was their fuck you to him. So yeah, fucking cutting his arms off and throwing them and saying "see you at the party, Richter" is great.
This is when they leave the room. That's the scene where like Michael Ironside is like, he's not going to remember any of this, right? And so he like punches Arnold.
Yeah.
And then as they're leaving, Richter says to him, "See you at the party."
Yeah.
So
and it's an audience clapping. Like I hope people clapped when they first saw that.
The other. It's a callback. It's an Arnold one-liner. The other element of it, to me, is that it is the most extreme, over-the-top, violent thing. Like,
yes,
he rips a screaming Michael Ironside's arms off, and then just holding
and that's not
them.
what kills him.
No, he falls down an impossible chasm in this elevator.
Yeah,
and then Arnold is just holding his arms. Like two loaves of French bread, like two French baguettes.
Beautiful. Yeah,
and it's just like, see you at the pot. Like he stopped holding these two bleeding human limbs and was like, I need to think of something cool to say before I throw these arms down the chasm.
Yep. It's a good evidence, honestly, that this is more of a Verhoeven film than a Schwarzenegger, because that kind of gore, it feels like they met in the middle, where it's like it's not RoboCop gore,
No,
but it's not Arnold. Like Arnold, like when he stabs that guy in the face, I was like, that's awesome, but that also didn't feel like an Arnold thing.
he's not
necessarily.
His movies, with the obvious exception of Predator, and parts.
Yeah, he'll
of
do
Terminator.
gory stuff.
But
Yeah, he will do gory stuff, but generally, the more control he had over his career, the less he would.
Right,
do
he
that,
never. It wasn't. Yeah, his movies usually aren't super gory. A lot of people get shot, and he'll
I think it's
do fucked up things like, I don't know, feed guys to alligators.
Yeah, there's also an element of like whenever anybody gets older, they tend to, cool down on the violence.
Yeah.
But yeah, Verhoeven, nothing like a Verhoeven gunshot, in my opinion. They're the most visceral gunshots in any movie.
He uses like the biggest, wettest squibs. Like they're so chunky. Like,
yeah, they're great.
It's wild.
Yeah. It's like dropping a meatball in a fucking spaghetti sauce. Like
incredible.
It's beautiful. So like that marriage is like, you forget that's kind of unique, because Schwarzenegger, he definitely has done gore, but it's never been like this type. I feel like
not Verhoeven gore.
Yeah, and by the time he gets to T2, even T2 feels kind of nerfed. I mean, it's a great movie, don't get me wrong, but like,
it's not super gory though.
It's not, but that's what I mean. Yeah, like the first Terminator feels like it's a little more edgy in that regard, right? T2 is still plenty fucking good.
A little bit, yeah. I guess
I appreciate him murdering all the people in the biker bar at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. You see more of they spend more time on him like doing surgery on his robot surgery on himself and showing off all the gore.
Yeah, it's more
there.
grotesque.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This is just a nice, weird, sweet spot. Verhoeven and Schwarzenegger. Like, what a team. What a great team.
Yeah.
So I guess it's time to rate this movie.
Oh man.
1 in 50 Quatos. What would you do?
Man, I think I would give this movie 50 Quatos.
Yeah, I give it the maximum
amount of Quatos,
allowed.
but each one of those Quatos also has a Quato.
Okay, that makes sense. So like 100 Quatos,
like 100
ultimately.
Quatos, yeah.
That's perfect. I hard agree. This movie is, like I said, I've known this movie for my whole life.
Just about, yeah.
It's weird because I I don't watch it as much as Terminator or Predator. I don't think about it that way. But it's a great movie. It's been with me. You know, it's there. You know,
it's a pretty great movie. Yeah,
it's always been there for me, and it's there when I need it, and so I love it.
Like a Stevie Wonder album.
Exactly.
Anytime I need it, I can just put it on.
Yeah. So yeah, Total Recall. All the Quatos.
All of the Quatos.
Boy, Norm from Cheers, thank you so much.
Thank
as
you.
always. This has been a lot of fun. This is a very easy podcast.
I barely needed to watch the movie to do this pod. Like I have this movie memorized.
And this is one of those movies that no matter how many times I watch it, where I almost like forgot to take notes because I'm like, oh, I'm just enjoying.
Yeah,
Total
I'm just
Recall.
watching Total Recall. Yeah, because it rules.
Yeah, because it's awesome. This is through our Patreon. And if people are interested, they can go to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We have exclusive podcasts on there, like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and Spiel Boys. We watch movies with our patrons every Friday night. That's part of a different tier. We have a Discord community. We have a bunch of tiers, including custom podcasts and custom We Just Watched tiers. So check that out.
Check that out.
Out.
We also have a store. Head over to GameFullyUnemployed.com where you can find a link to our Teespring store where we have all kinds of cool original artwork and designs you can get on t-shirts, mugs, stickers, posters, all sorts of things. So slap your fake robotic peepers onto that.
Yep.
Before
think
they
like
explode.
Yeah, do you think like kids use those to like sneak into movies?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of times with kids accidentally blowing
themselves up. Yeah. Trying to buy beer. Some dirtbag teens trying to buy beer.
Right. Oh. Bless their exploded hearts.
Blows up in the station wagon and scorches their mom's seats.
Aw. That futuristic like triangular
jeepers.
station wagon.
Yeah. It's a real fucking Elon Musk station wagon.
Yeah. God,
just
man.
a jagged block of metal.
This is the future we deserve.
Yeah, no, this is the one we are demanding.
Yes, give it to us.
We are screaming for a future in which they bottle the air and sell it to us.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I love it. Mm-hmm. All right. See ya.
Bye.
Australia